This is Richard Flax at MoneyFarm, talking about some of the things we've seen over the past couple of days. It's been pretty active on the policy side. In the US, we've seen the Federal Reserve, the US Central Bank, announce another significant stimulus package focused on small business lending, on lending to municipalities, and also including high yield bonds in one of their earlier programs, which had previously just been focused on higher quality investment grade. In Europe, we've seen the Eurozone finally come with a relatively significant stimulus package of its own, around 600 billion euros, after what were some fairly painful negotiations, by the sounds of it, that were focused on ultimately who was going to be responsible, who was going to pay. And you know, the Eurozone, I think leaders recognized that firstly they clearly needed to do something to support their economy, and very quickly, but also that the questions about the structure of a centralized monetary policy, a European Central Bank, and relatively decentralized fiscal policy is something that they will eventually need to address. Finally, in the oil market, we've seen oil-producing countries announce a very significant cut in production of around 10 million barrels per day. And the real question here is that whether that's enough to help stabilize that market in the face of a very significant drop in demand. At the start of that process, there was a price war predominantly between Saudi Arabia and Russia. And that really was overtaken by the very sharp drop in demand that we've seen recently. So a little bit unclear as to how well the oil market will stabilize as a result of that, but on the margin it's a bit more supportive. It's fair to say financial markets have really moved ahead of some of these announcements. Financial markets have priced in the fact that governments and institutions are going to do a very great deal to help stabilize the global economy. And now the question is a little bit more focused on, the real impact for companies, for households. We've obviously seen a very significant increase in unemployment, particularly in the US, over the past couple of weeks. And how quickly and effectively governments and countries can reopen their economies. Signs are that it will start relatively soon, which is great, but also that it will need to be quite a measured and a fairly slow process. So it's pleasing to see that the policy response has been very swift and very significant. And I think now that the focus will begin to turn a little bit more to the exit strategy and just how much these economies are suffering and how quickly we can begin to see some sort of a recovery. Thank you very much for joining, and look forward to speaking to you again soon.